We're about to start. You'll go first. 2-minute opening statement in a second. I will then ask a few questions, 90-second responses. We'll then open up to audience questions, also 90-second responses, and then we'll close with a 90-second closing statement. Who is going to be our, there's so Lane and the cowbell. She will hold up a sign that says that you have 15 seconds. If you're not paying attention to her, when it's time to stop, you'll hear that cowbell, and we will ask you to stop. So with that, let's get started. And Stella Malloy, you have 2 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm Stella Maloyan. I'm an Armenian-American immigrant from Iran, and I've lived in District 12 for the past 40 years. I have gone to Cal State Northridge every decade, getting something new, studying some new field. I have raised my kids in District 12. I have a 23-year-old daughter and a 26-year-old son, which I'm extremely proud of. And my activism started many, many years ago as a young immigrant. And for the past 20 years, I have been an executive at a strategic policy organization named LANE. And my contribution to LANE has been creating the largest private fundraising program in the country for a nonprofit sector. And what I bring to the table is I'm very savvy and very comfortable connecting business, entertainment, labor, community to one another. I have actively helped shape policy and won campaigns that have helped raise hundreds and thousands of people out of poverty. Me and my organization have actively held City Hall accountable. And I feel I'm a very strong candidate for this position. I'm in it to win it. I have very powerful endorsements. And I thank you for having us today. And again, my apologies for being late. I was trying to find the unit. Thank you.
Scott? Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Abrams. Deep roots in this community. My parents met at CSUN as undergraduates 50 years ago this year. And I myself was born and raised in the West San Fernando Valley, actually not too far from this newer BICA headquarters. I went to UCLA, taught high school civics, worked for Governor Gray Davis. And 17 years ago, I went to work for Congressman Brad Sherman. And as his senior aide for the last 17 years, I've been here in the community, working with many of you. You've seen me at BICA events, chamber events, neighborhood councils, Kiwanis Club, all the civic organizations that make our city thrive. I've contributed to those organizations, and I've been involved, and I've been on the ground in a way that I think is important for a council member, to know the issues that are important to people, and to have a deep Rolodex to draw from, to know who can help, because it's about forming partnerships in the city. I've been a director of a constituent service office, which means that over 1,000 people a year come to our office seeking help resolving a problem with a federal agency. This time of year it's the IRS, but it could be Medicare, Social Security, all the agencies, the VA. They come to our office and we provide them with a real concierge service. That is, that we chase down the problems, we cut through the red tape, we hold bureaucrats accountable, and we get the job done for them. And that is critically important. And I think it's one of the first responsibilities of a council member, is to be responsive to the community, to get the job done. They don't want any excuses. They want that government works for them. And that's the kind of office I run for a long time. The other thing I bring to this race, having worked for a congressman, is a knowledge of how multiple jurisdictions are at play with the biggest issues that we're facing as a city. We can't go at it alone. When we talk about the homelessness crisis and environmental concerns, the federal government has a role, the state government has a role, the city government has a role. I know all those levels of government, and I think I can bring in the federal dollars, I think I can work with state partners, and I think I know the policy issues to make the city work well. Thank you so much.
Well done. Well done. Jeff?
Good morning, everyone. Jeff Dark. I'm a BICA member for quite some time now. I've been chairing the International Trade Committee. In fact, was founding chair and still chair it. And by the way, before I'll invade my time for 2 seconds, look for a June 13 port tour that we'll be having to the International Trade Committee for BICA. Great opportunity. So a little about myself. I grew up in Van Nuys. For those who don't know this, at Victory and Fulton. I've been doing community things since I was 14. I've lived in the district the past 32 years in Northridge. My 4 kids have all gone to public schools in the district. And the last 8 years, I moved my law firm from downtown to the Valley. And I now travel through the Valley, including right next to the other side of CD12 where my offices are in Warner Center. What makes me want to run after not running for a long time, because I've been a lawyer for just about 37 years, right? Complex business litigation, transactions. Anyone got the microphone? If I just talk loud?
No.
Okay.
No.
So in addition to doing complex business disputes, transactions, half my practice is international, therefore the International Trade Committee. I've been a city commissioner for the past 15 and a half years, appointed by the past 3 mayors. Most recently, I was on the Airport Commission, where that's really what spurs me to want to take what we've been doing at the airport. So for those who don't know, currently it's LAX and Van Nuys. LAX is the 4th busiest airport in the world, and we've been able to take what's frankly a mediocre airport and are in the process, finally in our lifetime, of turning it around into one of the great airports of the world. And what I mean by that is we have almost $15 billion in modernization projects. We didn't have an audit committee when I got there. We formed an audit committee, figured out how to do the charter. Before that, I was on the Rent Adjustment Commission, and there, because things were so dysfunctional, for 6.5 years, we reviewed and redid every regulation, deleted regulations, added regulations, to make the housing department on rent laws and mobile home parks work. And that's what I'll do as your council member.
Thank you. Yeah. Josh Yeager.
Well, good morning, everybody. No, I'm not the intern at VICA. I am born and raised in the San Fernando Valley. I grew up in Granada Hills, went to local schools like Van Gogh, Egremont, Chester Hills Academy, graduated from Chaminade and West Hills, and now I've spent the last 10 years in Chatsworth. Family owns a business in Granada Hills. We own the Jersey Mike's there on Chatsworth Street. I'm also, the son of a very successful female entrepreneur. My mother's an inventor, so I have a strong business background. I know that not many of you know who I am, although I know who many of you are. I currently work at Sorrell Associates. After I graduated from UC San Diego and got my bachelor's degree in public policy, I took an internship with them, and for the past 3 years I have been working side by side with the likes of Lisa and Hal Dash and Steve Bullock on a lot of policy issues surrounding the city. I'm excited to be here. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to learn from you guys and for you to hear some of the ideas that I have. But I am just a community guy, like I said, born and raised, and very much looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you, Josh. Not that there's anything wrong with being a VICA intern. Lorraine Lundquist.
Good morning, VICA. My name is Dr. Lorraine Lundquist, and I am running for Council District 12 to help LA become a leader in the new green economy, to attack our housing and homelessness crisis, and to give ordinary citizens a voice at City Hall. Now, those are some of the same issues you're going to hear from a lot of candidates here today. But here are some things you're not going to hear from any other candidate. I have a PhD in physics from UC Berkeley. I served as an astrophysicist at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, and I was a Science and Technology Policy Fellow at the National Academy of Sciences in Washington, D.C. I've also had the opportunity to be a foster parent to 3 beautiful children. I am a neighborhood council vice president. I am a public school mom. I've taught math in San Quentin State Prison. I designed and built a solar-powered car that I raced across the country, and I've launched a science research satellite into space. I want to tell you a little bit about my story and about why I'm running for office right now. So I used to be an astrophysicist and do science research, and I loved doing science research. But something happened when I became a mom. After I became a mom, something about being a parent made me dive into the research on climate change. I was a scientist. I knew climate change was real. I knew it was important. But I had never before read the research papers. And once I started doing that, frankly, I became very scared. I hadn't understood how urgent the situation was. I hadn't understood how quickly we need to change everything about our economy. and I hadn't understood, frankly, how dire the prospects were for my children. Well, now I am running for office because I understand that, and because I understand that we need a leader to usher us into the new green economy. But there are tremendous profit opportunities that come with that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, John Lee.
Good morning, Micah. My name is John Lee. Just to give you a little background about myself. I've lived in this community since 1978, so over 40 years. I've gone to elementary, junior high, high school, Cal State Northridge, all in the district. I've represented this area over half my adult life. Now I'm raising my children there, and I'm looking for the opportunity to represent it as its councilman. One of the things that I was most sort of touched by during this campaign was the very beginning. When Councilman Englander made the announcement that he was stepping down, community members started calling me and urging me to run. People in City Hall, people, friends, family, some people in this room. And that really inspired me. And that's why when I launched my campaign, I had over 100 community members from West Hills to Granada Hills endorse my campaign. These were community leaders, not not family members, although I'm pretty sure my mom would endorse me. But these were community leaders that I've worked with over the years. And I think as a business community, and the reason why I know so many people in this room, because I have a history of working with you on so many different important issues. I've always felt that City Hall shouldn't be telling you how to run your businesses. We should actually be engaging you more to help us, work with us, have a seat at the table, which I just think is just not there right now. CD12 has always been that sort of voice of reason. When other council members say that they're business friendly, CD12 actually proves that and stands behind you, and I believe I've always been a big part of that, and I'm hoping that I can earn your endorsement. So thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Now, Frank Ferry, finish off the statement.
Good morning, Micah. Thank you for hosting today's event, and thanks to Mike and State Farm for your sponsorship. My name is Frank Ferry. I'm running for the CD12 City Council position. I grew up in Granada Hills for 25 years. I grew up in Granada Hills in what was considered the Sunshine Ranch property, which was built in 1895. So we were in the old bunkhouse of that property back when the entire valley was orange groves and lemons. I went to public schools. I went to Alamany, went to Cal State Northridge, got my governmental communications degree. And then I taught, my first job was at Nobel Middle School. At Nobel Middle School, I was honored to be the Teacher of the Year, recognized by the 31st District PTSA. And at night, I went to law school where I passed the bar in 1992. Couldn't afford a home in the valley, moved up to Santa Clarita Valley with my family to get a home. I was a teacher and educator up at Valencia and Saugus High School. But while there, I was blessed to be, for 16 years, on the Santa Clarita City Councilman, as a councilman and as a mayor in Santa Clarita. While I was up there in the council, I was on the budget committee the entire time, where we were in the black and had reserves, which was unheard of because many cities at the time were going bankrupt, and we actually not only were in the black, but we're also building parks, we were building community centers, we were building skateboard parks, etc. I then came down at Bishop Alamany High School. I was the principal, where we grew from 1,250 students to 1,650 students, built morale, built our academics. And then for the last 5 years, I have been working with my wife to build her dental practice from 1 to 3 practices, from 4,000 to nearly 40,000 patients. So I'm here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.